What's been fascinating to me is thinking about the grip that our culture is in with these vices. And it's very interesting to me that gula or gluttony, there were many theologians that considered it really the first, what got us out of our first state of innocence and blessedness. It's interesting, in the Islamic tradition, it's not an apple tree, it was actually wheat that all the commentators say was the first, the forbidden fruit. It was actually grain. But whatever that was, it seems to just have a real grip on our culture. And I know that you have a lot of thoughts about consumption, and it seems that it's consuming us. This idea of gluttony.
Well, it's not an apple in the Bible either. It's just fruit. Apple kind of comes as a kind of later eisegesis. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, in some ways, in our culture, sin and guilt are still associated with food in some interesting ways. And in some ways, although we don't tend to take sin very seriously anymore, you have these, you have the guiltless gourmet, and you have, in some ways, under the category of food and drink, sin is taken more seriously than it is in, sexual sins and so on. Lust is hardly a sin anymore. It seems like it's a desirable. It's something that you need to take pills to keep going and so on. But this idea of sin with regard to dietary things seems like something that is very tenacious. Although in some ways, sometimes in our culture, it gets turned around, and so to call a chocolate cake decadent, or to say that something is sinfully delicious, so it's still associated with sin, but it becomes a positive thing in that way.